So one of the first games I played on when I got on the Roll20 was uh, Mega Dungeon Barrowmaze, um, and it was very fun. It was incredibly deadly, as I believe me and another guy we got caught within like the first couple rooms by a trap that shut us in with a bunch of skeletons. We were first level, and we were clawed to death in essence. So that was my first introduction to Barrowmaze. But we went in many more times, um, and in the grand scheme of Barrowmaze's size, it was quite small in the area that we went to. But I thoroughly enjoyed Barrowmaze. That's what this video is going to be about. It's not going to be for players because there'll be some slight spoilers. Just I'll be showing some stuff in the book that you don't want to see. But I want to show a different type of mega dungeon than the video I did, Stonehill. And this is Barrowmaze Complete. Now, Barrowmaze was originally two books, Indiegogo campaign, and this was also Indiegogo campaign. This is the cover here. It's hardback. Errol Otis did the cover of this. Love the spine. It's got that first edition color to it. And here's the back, also looking kind of like an old book from first edition. It's by Gillespie, and I got this at GaryCon. I bought it straight from him. He signed it. He talked to me about it, and it was a great, great educational thing on learning and getting into his mind about him creating Barrowmaze. So this is Barrowmaze 1 and 2 put into one book, and let's just go ahead and get it out of the way. It's very expensive. For a mega dungeon, for any type of OSR product, for any type of role-playing game product. And let's explain why. I was able to have a great dinner with him, with Greg, and sat down with him and I asked him a question. I said, explain to me why the price is what it is. And this is the number one thing that gets asked about people hesitant about Barrowmaze Complete. So Barrowmaze Complete, for starters, has a ton of words. The word count in it is astronomical. And Barrowmaze Complete added even more thousands and thousands of words to the original two books. What Greg told me was that he wanted to create a traditional fantasy mega dungeon with nothing crazy, nothing gonzo, focusing on undead mainly. He wanted it to be horizontal and not vertical in the way that the dungeon is laid out. And he wanted a product that was extremely, extremely good looking, with some of the best artists, some of the best OSR artists in the industry, and to make a gorgeous, gorgeous product that you could have years and years of playing with. He explained to me about how the money that we spend on video games and on other forms of entertainment, and how much he has put into this. The way it looks, the art, of course, the artist that he got, and the scope of it, the amount of play that you'll get out of it. This is a gorgeous piece of OSR writing and creativity. It should be in anybody's. I'm just going to get all the good stuff out right away, and then I'll show you why. It should be in anybody's, be on anybody's bookshelf. If you want to make a dungeon that is serious about what it's doing, it's all about time management, it's all about resource management. It is deadly, dark, and it is a force to be reckoned with, but also a product that you can show somebody, see the artist that's in it, see how it's laid out. Even the font is fantastic in it. I know that's funny, but I'll show you some pages to it. I'll show you some art. And that is just to get it out of the way. That question gets asked time and time again, and people balk on it. I understand. Right now, the PDF for it is $35. It does go on sale occasionally on Drive-Thru RPG. It becomes like the deal of the day. The hardback is $75. I don't know exactly. I can't remember exactly what I paid for it, but it was something close to that. Now, if you find Greg and you find him at a convention and you buy the hardback from him, he'll send you the PDF for free. So that's very cool of him. And he did that for me, and I was very appreciative of it. But the thing about it is it's going to be it's twofold really. It's scope and art. Well, I guess a third thing, pure fantasy. That's what Barrowmaze is all about. So let's get into it. I'm going to go ahead and crack this baby open. This is a print-on-demand Drive-Thru RPG book. But again, there's the cover. fantastic cover there. I really like that. First time that he got him to part of it. And I'm gonna go through the artists, because this is a big part about what Barrowmaze is about, as well as what people's beef is with it, with the price. I'm gonna butcher some names, so I apologize. Zhu Baji, Alexander Cook, Dej Diamond, Corey Hamill, Trevor Hammond, Jim Holloway, John Larry, Scott Lemien, Peter Pagano, Stefan Pogue, sorry, Tim Truman, Jason Schultes, Stephen Thompson, and Tara Williamson. So, and of course, again, Errol Otis doing the cover. So several of those people have great TSR history involved in them. They're currently doing OSR stuff in Dungeon Crawl Classics and games like that. And then you've got a name that stands out here like Tim Truman, who's just a legend in the field of art. And Jim Holloway, of course, has done great things for old school OSR as well. And I'm just pointing out those two names. Those are big names, obviously, that stand out to me. Peter Pagano does some incredible work in it. And one thing that's great about it, he tells you about his explanation about why he made it. And then he gives you information, like a brief history. And one thing I found about it is that, could be wrong here. It might be in there. That's how all books are. But I didn't notice any errors, any typos, anything like that. It's just meticulously laid out. He explains how it is, the way the Mega Dungeon is. And this is a dungeon that is just one solid level. Okay, just a vast, massive level. And then it goes into a brief history about Barrowmaze, who created it. And I would say that while this has Barrowmaze Complete gave us the town of Helix to start off with, as well as many NPCs. There are several adventure hooks to get you into it, but there's not like a ongoing story-like type thing for your characters to be involved in. There's adventure hooks to get you in there that you can come up with as well, but I would have to say it's a more fleshed out area around Barrowmaze and campaign setting, I guess, because that's really what it is too. It's a campaign setting, but of course it could be put into any fantasy setting that you're playing in. So here's some of the art starting off, and many pages have art. The art is throughout it. Of course I'm covering that up like an idiot, but throughout it. Okay, so I'm gonna start showing you some really nice pieces. It goes into a hex map of the Duchy of Eric, I think it's called. It's going to show you some of the other areas that are around. The Moon Peaks, the Moorwash River, the Blackened Forest. It tells you some of the deities. So again, with their seals, crests, and stuff. This is just kind of getting you going. And then it's going to tell you about towns and settlements. So right here, you can see how it's different than maybe some other mega dungeons. It's telling you about other areas that are in, that surround Barrowmaze. It's showing you, again, art all throughout the book. And then it's telling you about the town of Helix, a small town that's about half a day away from Barrowmaze, and the moors and mounds that surround it. So you get a great map there of Helix, as well as locations, and then these great NPCs at the top here with all their stats. And I just really like the way it's laid out. I like the bold text. I like the font that's used. It's got all the stats for all the NPCs. And it's just very, very nice to look at. And it's going to be one of its claims to fame. So there, you've got personalities of Helix. So right there, you're already making stuff to make NPCs, characters, story, and that's a little bit different than maybe in different other type of dungeon, dungeon crawl, mega dungeon. And then he goes into adventure hooks, random rumor table, running Barrowmaze, and he tells you about everything here. And this is really the meat of how to run Barrowmaze. The entries, the keys, that how to do the dungeon keys and entries, how to read out to your players. Random monsters, how silence works in it. The random tables, restocking the dungeon, and then the Barrowmaze is full of these alcoves. And he lets you know, because it's all about time management. That's one thing he really wanted to tell me, was time and resource management. It's going to tell you if there's 145 burial alcoves, with how many people, how long it would take y'all to clear out those burial alcoves. So it's massive. He wants to show you a massive scale of this mass burial site that is Barrowmaze. And so it goes on to how to do. There's bricked up walls, what might be behind them, how light, sight, and time work. as well as stuck doors. Turning undead is harder to do in Barrowmaze. Fear and the different entrances. So there's a new turning table for clerics because it is more difficult, and I like that. It makes it more challenging. Reminds me of Ravenloft a little bit. And then it talks about some new treasure types that is in there that you'll find. And again, there's more pages that have art that don't. And the art is all very cohesive, even though it's done by different artists. And it just really looks nice. Tells you more about some of the different things that you'll face, some of the factions that are in Barrowmaze, as well as kind of the end game of it, what's going on in the end game. And then we're going to start off with the maps. The maps and the meat right here. The first thing is there's barrow mounds. There's a huge area full of these barrow mounds. And I can't remember the number off the top of my head, but I want to say there's like 70. There's like 70 different mounds that you can go in, and each one of them has an entry for it. So you've got this great hex map right here that shows all the different entrances. You can see all the dark hexes are going to be entrances. So there's 12 entrances into Barrowmaze, and then all those other numbers are all going to be individually done up barrow mounds that you can go into. So here's great art, and this starts off how most of the book looks. It's right here. This fantastic art and this fantastic layout. So here it goes. This is Barrow Mound 5 and 6. Some of them have their own little maps, and they're all statted out. So that's where that large word count is going to come into play. With this almost 70 some mounts, you can have months and months and months of playing just looking at these friggin' mounds and finding out what's in these different areas before we even actually go down deep into, and then actually get into Barrowmaze proper, I guess I should say. So again, page after page of that. Here's mounts 19, 24, and 25. I love all the art at the top. Makes it really nice and gives it that cohesive feel to it. We're up to 43. You can see me turning pages here. 46. This is a great page. I like the heads at the bottom down here. Of course, my finger. There we go. And again, the barrow mounts. And each one of them is unique, different. They might be small, they might be slightly large, they might have something going on with them, and so that's very cool. And here we have one of our full page art right here. So this is just it's gorgeous the way it's laid out. And we're at Barrow Mound 51, 52. It's got all the stat blocks for all the creatures, that you're going to be facing in these areas. Here's Barrow Mound 53. Look at the size of Barrow Mound 53 over here. So that's a large Barrow Mound. Again, showing you the scope of what this is. Another full picture right here. Full piece of art. And again, it's really well done. And then here's a Tim Truman. Fantastic piece. And then finally, here on page 61, we get into the Forbidden Antechamber. This is Barrowmaze Area 1. You approach from, you have to climb down in a hole, and that's where I remember where I started. And as you can see, as it goes, it's page after page of incredible art, all original for the Mega Dungeon. And that's what makes it different. That's what sets it apart. That's what makes it such a high value type of product, that everybody should have. Again, full page art to show people, to show your players, and people like that. It's gonna be a good thing to show people is these great pieces of art, and it goes on and on and on like that. And I'm passing up great piece of art, but I can't sit here and show you every single one in here because there's just so much of it. And the way it looks together, it's fantastic. So when you get towards the end, you've got some really great things that are going to help you. You're going to have new magical items, a list of all new magical items that that are in there. You're going to have, of course, that's still going. You're going to have new spells that are just that were made for Barrowmaze. New monsters, and this is going to be almost like its own. This is almost like its own monster manual right here with art for each one. And yeah, it just keeps going and going with great art. So you're getting almost like a monster manual and a mega dungeon and a setting. You're getting the whole kit and caboodle with this. And I'm still monsters. I'm in the G's of monsters. Here, let's just keep turning some pages, and we'll stop here at the end and look at this great art. That's why it's different. This is the scope of what this project was. Pre-generated characters for you to start off with. And then there's a neat section of rival adventure parties that you may meet in Barrowmaze that are also trying to be, because some of the adventure hooks are simply like, you're poor, you're broke, you've heard about there's people getting out treasure and stuff out of Barrowmaze. You get up with these people that are with you and go try to make your money back and try to make something of yourself. And there is all the different factions, again, many other adventuring parties there that are trying to get there and make their way into Barrowmaze. An awesome Barrowmaze character sheet, as you can see. And then, a great section, it has page after page of full-size art, half-size art. This is, in essence, it's called the Barrowmaze Illustration Book. So you can see full-size, half-size of all the big pieces to show your players of what they're coming across in Barrowmaze. And it keeps going and going and going. Fantastic stuff. And then here we go. Let me show you the map. Now this map is broken up into 4 pages. And if you, or more than that, if you get the PDF, you're going to get normal kind of black and white maps, just like these. It's going to be one big PDF, one big picture with the whole map on it. It's very, very high resolution. And it also have it in blue. Again, this is all one level. You have the blue and white for the old school guys. And there is the rest of it. So just huge, just massive. It's got random tables for random encounters, random dungeon dressing, random graffiti, random pit contents. So if you fall into a pit, what might be down in there. Dungeon restock thing, runic table results, random sarcophagus contents. See a whole table full of that. And then a great section, Barrow Mound random crypt generator. So in essence, you can make your own crypts in the Barrow Mounds. And it shows you different types of entrances as well as different type of rooms. You can see here, different features, different contents. What type door is it? Is it sealed? Is it closed? Is it ajar? Not a jar, but a jar. What are the occupants of it? The monsters. Are there any goods in there? Is there any jewelry, coins, gems? Table and table of that to help you create your own mounds. That right there gives it huge, playability, adding on even more to it. And then a Barrow Mound generator sheet, so you can write all that out. And then it goes into some of the description of some of the artists that went into making Barrowmaze. So I flipped through a lot of pages there. It's full of art, like I've said many times. I'm like a broken record with this. But that's Barrowmaze. If you're looking for a undead-themed, strictly pure, traditional fantasy, horizontal, one-level mega dungeon with high product value, production values, I guess you should say. Amazing art, very cohesive art by many different artists, really well written, and just a beautiful piece to have. That's Barrowmaze complete. It is a hurdle for people because of the price, but I think if you get it, you look through it, hopefully this has helped, you'll see that you're getting a huge mega dungeon with just top of the line everything involved in it. So that's Barrowmaze, and also they did another I think they did another campaign, and they put it out for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. So I'm certain that must be bigger because of course the stat blocks for the monsters. I've not seen how that's how it is, but that's also out there as well. But this is for Labyrinth lore, and of course any other, you can use this for any other OSR game. That's what's so great about the OSR. And that's Barrowmaze complete. I hope this has maybe shown some light on why it is the price that it is, what you're getting out of it, and really how fantastic it is. So hope this has been helpful, and thanks for watching.